Man, it's not the topic on this morning, but if I had to put my own topic on this text, I would title it, "He's a Bad Mama Channel." Look at your neighbor and repeat after me. Say, neighbor, God has taught us and prepared us on how we should deal with difficulties. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. I like that. Bad Mama Channel. What manner of man is this? Check on it for me down there, Davis. That even the seed, thank you, sir, will obey him. Dealing with difficulties. As we begin to look at our topic, every born again believer must come to the understanding that in this life, we will, you will, I will be exposed to dealing with some kind of difficulties. Amen. As a matter of fact, somebody said, you know what, Pastor, right now I'm in a crazy season. It seems as though everything that I try to do, it comes back on me. It seems as though the right that I try to do, wrong is next door neighbors with me. It seems as though every time I think that I've gotten over one situation, here is another situation. All of us in here, no matter who your pastor is, what church you belong to, how many prayers you put up, how many worship service you attend, all of us in the house of God is dealing with some kind of difficulties. Nobody will be exempt from some difficulties, y'all, are a way of life. In other words, it has to happen. Look to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you're not exempt. You're not exempt. None of us in here are exempt from going through. Truth be told, there are two kinds of individuals in this life. There are those who are coming out, and then there are those who are about to go in. There are those who are going through in order that they might be able to get to. Nobody in the house of the Lord is exempt from going through situations and dealing with difficulties. If life was that easy, y'all, as a people, we could put our problems on hold. We could. Don't you wish sometime that you could tell your problems? Just hold on for right now. Okay? Don't you wish sometimes you could just put your problems on hold, because right now you just do not want to deal with them. But if we're going to make it in life, difficulties is a part of it. Some of us be honest enough to say, you know what, Pastor? If it ain't one thing, it's three others. It used to be if it's not one thing, it's another. But now if it ain't one thing, it's three. It seems like there is problems after problems. Then there are times when people call us, and I know we say, but sometimes we say, what now? All right. Anybody ever been down that what now road, you know, because people are constantly calling you. Stay with me, I have monitors. People are constantly calling you with problems and situations. And the moment that you see their number, it begins to make you bring out of your spirit, what now? Go ahead and ask the Lord right now to forgive you for your what now moment. Just forgive you for your what now moment. Go down just a little bit, a little too loud. But in this, God has prepared all of us for a difficult moment. Oftentimes we say, I can't handle this. Now is not the time. When is the right time for a difficult situation? Honestly. When was the right time that he should have died? When was the right time that she should have died? When was the right time that you should have got the job? When was the right time that you should have got married? When was the right time that you should have got promoted? When is the right time? And every time that we bring our spirit that the time is now, God is saying you ain't ready. You ain't ready. Give her whatever it is she wants. But difficulties, they come to make us stronger. Think about your most difficult situation. Think about it right now. The most difficult situation that you ever been through. Think about it right now. We're good. Think about the most difficult situation that you've ever been through. Now go ahead and praise God because he brought you out of it. The most difficult situation that you've been through. Now you can tell the Lord, thank you, because Lord, when that situation hit me, I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. But if it had not been for your grace and your mercy, if it had not been for you helping me through the situation, I would have died a long time ago. Difficulties. Sometimes, y'all, they come to make us stronger. What are your difficulties? Difficulties sitting there are these things and events and issues and dramas and unwanted avenues that come in our lives to either do one or two things, either to draw us closer or to drive us away. As a matter of fact, somebody's saying right now in the spirit of the Lord, Pastor, I'm to the boiling point in my life. I'm sick and tired of this household. I'm sick and tired of these kids. I'm sick and tired of the job. I'm sick and tired of everything. But you got to hang on in there. And the reason why I'm sharing with you that you have to hang on in there is because God has planned, prepped, and prepared us on how to be able to deal with the situation. Pastor, why should I hang in there? Because weeping may endure for a night. Amen. But joy coming in the morning. Pastor, why should I hang in there? You've come too far to turn back now. And the scripture tells me that when these difficulties begin to come up against me, that I have to be strong enough to understand that God is still in the midst of it. Shared with somebody on yesterday. It's in a difficult situation. I gave them Isaiah 54:17 to deposit in their spirit. And the scripture simply says that no weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. I want you all to recognize and realize right now, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you're not the only one going through. You're not the only one going through. Look at your other neighbor and tell your other neighbor, me too. Me too. All of us in here are dealing with some kind of situation. So you can either deal with it or you can get over it. But God has prepared us with what we need. He has given us what we need in order that we might be able to endure. Come down just a little bit out. Don't fumble on me. So the weapon may be formed, but it cannot prosper. Here it is right here. I'm here on assignment to tell each and every one of you that are dealing with difficulties right now in a difficult situation that is not going anywhere until you begin to deal with it. And then you have the power in your hand. In other words, there was a time when the rabbit didn't have the gun. But what you gonna do when the rabbit get the gun? The power is in your hand to be able to deal with the situation. Don't put it on simmer. Don't put it on hold. Just deal with it. God will help you. And he'll see you through. And oftentimes, y'all, Jesus becomes upset with us. Because sometimes we can be crybabies. One thing I can't stand is for a man to cry all the time. I just can't stand a whiny man that makes excuses. You are the man. Handle it. Handle it. Sometimes Jesus, oftentimes I wonder if he really just wanted to tell his disciples to shut up. Enough is enough. Say to them, I have prepared you on how to deal with life. I have reared and raised you in the admonition of the Lord. And you're crying over the most smallest things. You allow these things to come in your life and stress you out. Learn how to speak to some situation and tell some situation it's got to go. If you're tired of being broke, speak to brokenness. Tell brokenness in your finances, it's got to go. But as you speak to these broken situations, you have to make sure that in turn that you do your part so that the broken situation will not try to come back. Amen. The power of life and death, it lies in the tongue. The mountain will continue to be there. The Bible teaches us in this same book of Matthew that when we are confronted with a mountain, we got to speak to that mountain. You got to speak to it. Don't look at it and act like you don't see it. Speak to that mountain and tell that mountain to be thou removed. But you got to have faith, just the size of a little bitty mustard seed. We find here a scripture text as the disciples were being confronted with one difficult situation after another. We find Jesus Christ ministering to them and sharing with them. But at the end of the verse, we find him saying, "O ye of little faith." Me and Pastor Dave was talking about this a few weeks ago. Every now and then I try to pick his brain. And I'm listening when he thinks I'm not listening. Because he's a man of wisdom. But he made a statement to me. He said, oftentimes people believe John 3:16, but they don't believe Malachi where it says to bring all your tithes. Oh, I love it when it's like this. Oh, you believe John 3:16, but when it comes to giving your tithe, I ain't giving my money to that church. You just cursed yourself right then and there. Speak to it and have enough faith to believe it. And when you speak to it, you tell it that it's got to go. You start dealing with it. The biggest battle that we're faced up against, y'all, in this life, the biggest battle is between good and evil. Should I, should not? Anybody ever been down that road? Should I? And it does not matter what decision that you make in life. You're darned if you do. I can't say it like a Philly. You're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. Anybody ever been down that road? But we have been prepared on how to deal with these difficult situations. The reason why you're here on this morning is because God drove some things out of your way. Think about what I'm saying. There's some things that got to go only because you choose to deal with it. So the battle is in the mind. Paul fixed it. Paul said the things that I should do, those are things that I don't do. The things that I don't do, those are the things that I should do. He said every time that I try to do good, he said evil is always present. When difficulties, they come in our lives, y'all, to make us stronger. But the only way to become stronger is by dealing with it. And here in the text of this entire 8th chapter, we find Jesus the Christ and his disciples in the midst of all kind of difficulties. Can I walk down the street? In this 8th chapter. When I'm done with this, you'll look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor you thought you had problems. You thought you had situations going on. You thought your family was the only one crazy. Truth be told, all of us in there, we come out of a crazy family. Amen. But thanks be to God, we still here. The church says, amen. But in this text, the 8th chapter, Jesus Christ was sharing with his disciples that there were all kinds of difficulties. In verses 1 through 17, he had to deal with the authority over illness and difficulties. In verses 18 through 27, he had to deal with the authority over nature. In verses 28 through 34, he had to deal with the authority over casting out demons. Difficulties come and they go, but in the midst of all these difficulties, he overcame them. And I don't know who I'm talking to in this house on this morning, but you got to believe in yourself. Every now and then, you got to have a talk with yourself. And you got to motivate yourself. Tell yourself, self, we can do it. Notice I can say, self, I can do it. Because even though you have to motivate yourself, you have to have enough sense to realize that you can't make it without God. That's why I say, self, we can do it. If it can be done, it's only by the supernatural powers of God. Amen. Do you believe you can do it in this place on this morning? Amen. God didn't design your life for you to stay where you're at. You're going somewhere. You just got to be patient. And that's why the old folk used to say something like, please be patient with me, for God is not through with me yet. You got to speak it unto yourself and believe that it can be done. Amen. First off in the text, in dealing with difficulties, write this down. I cannot let difficulties dictate my directions. Don't let difficulties dictate your directions. Somebody needs to hear this on this Sunday morning. You need to hear from your pastor these simple words. You headed in the right direction.
All right. Thank you.
If I can deposit that in your spirit on this morning, you are headed in the right direction. To not let no demon, no devil dictate what your GPS has already been set on.
All right.
You headed in the right direction. It may take you some time to get there, but it's not about how much time it takes you to get there. Just get there. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, just get there.
Just get there.
So what are you saying? You know how it is in life when you set out. It depends on who's driving the car. If he drives, we get there faster.
All right.
Some situations, if she drives, you get there faster. But either which way it goes, it does not matter who's driving there. It does not matter who's driving. What does matter is as long as you make it to where you're trying to go. You praying about your finances. Don't worry about who's driving. Just get there. You praying about the job. Don't worry about who's driving. Just get there. You praying about relationship. Don't worry about that. Just get there. Do not let difficulties dictate your directions. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, don't throw away the map.
Don't throw away the map.
Oh yeah, don't whatever you do in life, don't throw away the map. Keep the GPS on so that you will be able to get there. What are you saying, Pastor? First difficulty that we find our Lord and Savior dealing with in verse 18 through 22, we find first off, Jesus was tired. Just wanting to get some rest. I was thinking the other day, and this is my own thought pattern. I was just thinking about how 2 weeks away from work would probably do me some good. 2 weeks. Somebody said, Pastor, you know what? If I can get 2 days off, you talking about 2 weeks, man, Pastor. If I can get 2 days off, two days off, that'll do me some good. But I was kind of thinking to myself, every now and then we get tired. In the text, verse 18, Jesus was tired. What was he trying to do? He was trying to go to the other side just to get some rest. I don't know about you all, but are you smart enough to understand there's a difference between sleep and rest? Yeah. I don't want no sleep, just a little rest. You take your power nap, but let me get some rest, because the power nap, I'm just cheating myself. And I'll pay for it at the end of the day. But just let me get some rest and relaxation. That's what Jesus was telling his disciples. I'm going to the other side just to get some rest. And the moment that he got to the other side, that was described, verse 19. I'm still in the text. It stopped him and wanted to talk about people being taxed and time for law. Jesus shared with him, it's time for rest. I will not let you dictate my direction on what God has given me the mandate on what I need to do. So what did Jesus do? He picks up his holiness and his humiliation, but he stayed on path. Then in verse 20, another difficulty. I'm just walking the text out, y'all. Verse 20, 21, and 22, there we are. Worrying about where we're going to live at. He said, foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. Difficulty. Then verse 21. My father done died, Jesus. I can't follow you anymore. I mean, think about that. Think about the mindset. Here you are with the man that has life in his hand, and you're talking about death. You have a man that can speak life into death. And Jesus shared with him, he said, let the dead bury themselves. You cannot allow difficulties to dictate your directions. In other words, there comes a point in a time within our life to where we got to have that mindset, I'm going regardless, without any detours, any derailments, or any dead ends. I will not lose directions because I understand that there is a destination. Secondly, in dealing with difficulties, we have to discern through dangers. Discern, D-I-S-C-E-R-N. We have to make sure that we understand that there's a difference between desiring and discerning. God is not caught up in our desires, but God is paying close attention on us being able to have the gift of discernment. In other words, you got to be able to see things for yourself. I don't care how much you try to convince me that it's raining outside. I'm standing right here outside in the midst of a beautiful day. You got to be able to see it for yourself. Tell your neighbor, discern it, not desire it. Discern it, not desire it. Where are you going with this, Pastor? We must be able to discern through dangerous situations. The spirit of discernment, y'all, it is a gift. We found that out in 1 Corinthians 12, 8 and 10, Ephesians 4, 7 to 11. Discernment is a gift. When you begin to discern a situation, it allows you to be able to distinguish it. In other words, ain't nothing like being able to see what you're dealing with for yourself. Yes. Do I have any folk in here this morning that be honest enough to say, I heard a lot, but when I seen it for myself, it changed my mindset. I'm not one of these individuals that go off what everybody else is saying. Let me see it for myself. And when I see it for myself, then will I be able to make my decision. And here they are, verse 23, in the midst of a storm. Jesus still trying to get some rest. And here comes another difficulty. But he was sharing with his disciples, you all have been following me, you've been around me, you should know the difference, you should know that I give you the tools in order that you might be able to tell what it is that you are dealing with. He was sharing with his disciples, don't wake me up about a storm, discern it. See what kind of storm it is. Believe it or not, sometimes we complain about storms. But some storms are good. Oh yeah. There are some storms that we go through in life that are just good for us. Amen, somebody. So that's why we have to pray and ask for the spirit of discernment so that we will be able to tell what kind of storm that it is that we are actually faced up against. On the ship, the Savior is near, storm arises, discern. God says it's time out for going to everybody else trying to get the answer about your life. He says we have to become mature enough and establish a relationship with Him so that we will know which way that we need to go. Are you going to hurt some people's feelings? Yes, you probably is. But it'll be all right. But it's not about them. It's about you. Sometimes people can't see what God is doing through you. Sometimes people don't understand where God is trying to take you. So when you are faced up with a situation that seems as though it is a storm, all you got to do is have faith and pray about it, give it to God, and keep it moving. Right. These storms, they come to make you stronger. And I know sometimes it hurts. There are two different types of hurt that really hurt. One is a family hurt. And the other is a church hurt. I've experienced both of them. You keep living long enough and you'll experience that. But even in the midst of you living life and you experiencing that, you still have to continue to do the things that God has called you to do. I'm hurting, but by his stripes I'm healed. You got to have the right mindset. So Jesus was sharing with his disciples, okay, it's a storm, man, y'all don't need me. Do I have any what y'all calling me for? Folk in here this morning. Oh, you can't stand it, but as soon as it go down, somebody get locked up on the first one that you call. Oh, you can't stand it, but as soon as something go down in the family, you want to call pastor. Call your pastor. Just an amen every now and then. Just one amen to help you out of this situation. You sick and tired of church folk. You sick and tired of folk acting like they all saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. I am saved. I am sanctified. I am filled with the Holy Ghost. All you got to do is get you some. So just because I'm saved, does that mean that I'm not going to go through? No, it does not. But because I'm saved, there's something I can do. And I don't know who I'm talking to in this place on this morning. But God says all you got to do is learn how to call on me. Anybody ever called on them late in the midnight hour? Anybody ever called on them on the job? Anybody ever called on them in a crisis? But as sure as I can call on them in a crisis, I can call on them in my good days. I can call on them and just tell them thank you for waking me up. I can call on them and tell you thank you just for making a way out of nowhere. You got to be able to discern and call on them for yourself. Songwriter said I'm living my best life now. I ain't got time. You got to be able to discern through dangerous situations. Oftentimes in our life, we've been put in a situation that it just didn't feel right, and you had to remove yourself from the situation. Anybody ever been there? Yes. Amen. Something ain't right about this ride. Something don't look right about that house. Why they only got one door? Something is not right. Y'all can go if you want to. Something is not right. I ain't going, and I'll hear about y'all on breaking news. Amen. You got to be able to discern whatever it is that you are dealing with. And that's what Jesus was telling the disciples. It ain't nothing but a storm. Storms come. And they go. But as this storm was arising, they came to him, verse 25, woke him up, and said, Lord, save us, we perish. In other words, all of us, Brother Terry, have been through a moment to where we may have told somebody, you don't care, don't nothing matter to you. You ain't got no feelings. Anything that's living ought to have some feelings. If you think it don't have a feeling, take a needle and poke it. Anything that's living has got some feelings. Am I right about it, church? Amen. If it's living, it's got some feeling. So he shared with them. After they came and they told him, Lord, you're going to leave us out here all by ourselves. You don't care whether or not we die. And he was sharing with them, all difficulties don't spell danger. If I've taught you as disciples to discern it, you will realize what kind of storm this really is. This was a temporary storm that God allowed the disciples to go through. But it would not dictate the rest of their ministry. Yes, the sea was raging. It was a reality. But the storm will pass. And I don't know who this is for right now, but God told me to share this with you. You're in a storm right now. But this storm is passing. So go ahead and praise him while it's passing. I don't know who you are, what you're dealing with, what you're going through. But God says for me to give you the direction that this storm is passing. In other words, this storm is not going to dictate to you, but you get ready to dictate this storm. Look to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, it's passing, it's passing. Don't wake me up. Discern it. Look, there's some things you just don't need pastor for. Pastor, the church is cold. Turn the heat on. Look at your neighbor and shout, discern. Pastor, I need you to pray. I taught you how to pray. We have to understand that when life throws certain situations at us, we are already equipped to be able to handle it. Am I making sense on this morning? Deal with these difficulties. Don't put it on the shelf. I was reading up on some worldly news the other day, praying hope, but it wasn't true. And in the news, they were talking about how 70% of the people that live in Atlanta is infected. Sad. But the mindset is every time that somebody's going through something, the first words out of their mouth is, I'm moving to Atlanta. You might want to check that out. Because either they got it or they own it. You might want to. We have to be able to discern it. Don't just hop on the bandwagon. See what it is that you're dealing with. They told him in the text, the counsel said, man, you're going to leave us out here to die. Jesus said, all I was trying to do was get some rest and relaxation. He said, but once again, he says, I'm here. And I leave you on this note. Last but not least, in dealing with difficulties, divinity disengages humanity. What do you mean, Pastor? Divinity disengages humanity. Divinity is everything that has to deal with the triuneness of God. I feel that's good. Divinity is that pneuma in the Greek. Which is that all right, Davis? Which is the Holy Ghost. So, what are you saying, Pastor? The triuneness of God, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1. Wait a minute, Pastor. Your numbers are off. The devil is a liar. They ain't off. These numbers that I'm talking about, they count. Divinity disengages humanity. Oftentimes, you all hear me sharing with you all, I ain't God. Nowhere near it. Couldn't even sum up. Because I understand that I am human. The last verse of the text says this. After Jesus Christ showed up and showed out. The last verse, verse 27 said, but the men marveled, saying, here it is, what manner of man is this? Somebody shout divinity. That's the difference between you and God. What you can't do, God can do. Yeah, divinity disengages humanity. In other words, man could participate in the storm, but man didn't have the power or the authority to be able to steal the storm. You ever been in a situation and you just got quiet and you told the Lord about it? Oh, yeah. Am I preaching to anybody? The Lord done gave you peace over certain situations. Yeah. You ain't arguing about it, you ain't fussing about it, none of that stuff. The Lord done gave you peace, and it is what it is. It's in God's hands, and you keep it moving. Amen. Christ has the power. Somebody shout divinity. His divineness overpowers his humanness. In other words, that's why the men marveled and came up saying, what manner of man is this that even the winds and the sea obey him? I'm going to leave you on this note. I don't care what kind of storm or difficulty that you may be dealing with. Divinity got you.
Thank you, Lord.
In other words, Pastor, break it down. You throw me off when you say divinity. God got you. Your difficulty, your soul, your situation. God got you. And if you believe that God got you, get on your feet right now and give God some praise. Don't worry about the storm. Don't worry about the situation you know beyond the shadow of a doubt. Do me this one favor. Go around and hug 5 people and tell them God got you. Go around and hug 5 people and tell them God got you. Divinity will disengage humanity. In other words, God got you. Whatever the situation may be, quit telling people about it and start talking to God, because this is the same God that said, "O ye of little faith." We got to learn how to have faith to believe that God is able to do all things but fail. And in other words, when you know that divinity disengages humanity, you begin to understand that there is nothing like him. I don't care how hard the wind may blow, you better know that it's not too difficult for God. In other words, this is not your season to bow down, but it is your season to give it to God. As the voice says, "Come, we all for Christ."